Hey guys, let's take those scales and turn them into melodic guitar solos. In this video, we're going to put together a melodic guitar solo using only two different scale shapes and moving them around the fretboard. If you want a more detailed explanation on how to use one shape up and down the neck, I made a video on it and I'll leave the link in the description below. Here's the two shapes that we're going to be using. The first is the G major shape. And the second is the E minor pentatonic shape. So before we get into it, you can find this backing track on my channel, and I'm going to leave a link to that as well. I purposely made this backing track simple and repetitive, so you can focus on the core components of phrasing and motifs. It's a basic 1-6-4-5 chord progression in the key of G. So we have G, E minor, C, and D. A nice little palette of chords to work with. The first thing I like to do when coming up with a guitar solo is to come up with a melody. The melody gives me structure, and I can use that melody as an anchor point to return to if I start getting lost while I'm improvising. To come up with a melody, instead of just noodling around through the notes of the scale, I like to vocalize it, much like you would when writing lyrics to a song. So now I have a melody line. So now what you need to do is just go through the notes of the scale and find those notes that you were singing. It may take you a while the first couple of times you do this to find the right notes in that scale, but it's well worth it when you vocalize it and then transpose that to your instrument. Doing this makes your instrument an extension of you and your voice. Let's hear how it sounds on the guitar. You notice how this section repeats? This repeat part is a nice little motif. But what if we make a motif out of the entire melody that we just played, but play it in another octave? In order to get to the next position where I want to play this melody line, I'm just going to noodle through the E minor pentatonic scale to set me up. And then I'm going to repeat that first motif over again in this new area of the fretboard. So now I've repeated my melody line, but it's time to move on to the next idea. So I went ahead and vocalized the next section that I want to play, and I found all of the notes of where I want to play it. So to get to that position, I'm just going to, once again, I'm going to noodle through the E minor pentatonic just a little bit differently to set myself up for this next section. So in this section, I have a different repeating pattern, but I wanted to introduce some different techniques, so I thought it'd be cool to add a little bit of harmonics into this. So now I'm going to play through the first and second section and see how it all fits together. So up to this point, all of the melodic sections have been vocalized beforehand and then figured out on the guitar. So now I want to continue with these sections, but add some improv into it. And like I said earlier, when I'm ready to come out of that improv, I can return to that original melody as my anchor point if I start getting lost or I just want to come home. Well, alright everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this video of how to compose a melodic guitar solo, or at least one way to compose. Like I said, links to the backing track and the scale simplified videos are going to be in the description below. If you're interested in using our chord finder tool, you can find it on 440club.com. It's a great tool to come up with chord progressions, and you can use it to study your music theory. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Alright everybody, I'll talk to you guys again soon.